यार आई थिंक इट्स हाई टाइम वी से इट, एंड मैं बहुत टाइम से बोलना चाह रहा था. एंड आई प्रॉब्ली शुड हैव सेड इट अर्लियर, एंड आई थिंक people should start talking about it. The simple fact is, I genuinely think Vinicius Jr. is much better than Kylian Mbappe. And ये जो performance थी ना against Girona, I think it just sums up how brilliant Vinicius is as a player. And this is coming from a Barcelona fan, and I'm saying this out of sheer jealousy that Real have an absolute gem in their hand. And yeah, what a brilliant, what a flawless performance by Madrid. You know, इंजरीज मड्रिड के फेवर में नहीं रही हैं इस सीजन भी. उनका आज तो उनके पास कोई भी फर्स्ट टीम सेंटर बैक नहीं था. तब भी टू पुट इन अ परफॉर्मेंस लाइक दैट अगेंस्ट देयर टाइटल राइवल इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सीजन इन जिरोना, it was, I think, nothing less than spectacular and nothing less than what, just an absolute performance of champions, of future champions. And I think आज का ये मैच है just sums it up. And just I think in more or less it's sort of हमारा लीग का पता चल चुका है कौन जीतेगा. आई थिंक मड्रिड विल डेफिनेटली नाउ विन द लीग. बहुत ही अनलाइकली चांस है कि बारसा या जिरोना कम बैक करे. उनको एक सिटी टाइप रन पे जाना पड़ेगा, जो हर साल सिटी लास्ट के 18-17 मैचेस लगातार जीत जाती है. तो दीज टीम्स वुड हैव टू गो इन सच अ रन. But yeah, today this is a review of the match between Real Madrid and Girona, and the scoreline was 4-0 to Real Madrid. And it was a brilliant performance from minute one. And जब दूसरे मिनट पे ही Vinicius एक ब्रिलियंट गोल मारते हैं, व्हाट एन एब्सोल्यूट स्क्रीमर यार. तो उसके बाद ऑब्वियसली मोमेंटम भी मड्रिड के साथ था, एंड आई थिंक दे जस्ट कंप्लीटली डोमिनेटेड जिरोना. after the Atletico performance as well, and considering कि Madrid के पास कोई center back नहीं था proper, I expected कि I expected Girona to win, honestly. Not in terms of a defensive performance, but I think I thought that Girona would out attack Madrid and score a bunch of goals. मैं सोच रहा था 3-2 4-3 वाला मैच हो सकता है, but I think kudos to Carlo Ancelotti as well. The defense of Tchouaméni and Carvajal surprisingly did a brilliant job. एंड श्योमैनी जब भी डिफेंस एज अ सेंटर बैक खेला है रियाल ने, अभी तक एक गोल कंसीड नहीं करा है. तो might be a lucky charm in defense for them, Tchouaméni, but again, yeah, a very commanding performance. But simply put, hats off to Vinicius, hats off to Bellingham. हाँ, Bellingham की बहुत अच्छी performance थी, but I think Vinicius was just absolutely out of this world in this match. चाहे वो पहले गोल हो, चाहे वो दूसरे गोल के लिए जो उसने आउटर खेली, या थर्ड गोल के लिए आपका जो उसने ड्रिबल करके असिस्ट मिला है उसको, he was absolutely phenomenal, yaar. And yes, Mbappe might have a World Cup under his belt, but Vinicius has multiple Champions League. But at the same time, I think in terms of absolute footballing talent, I genuinely believe that Vinicius is a better player than Kylian Mbappe. And yes, he has the sort of sense of diving in him, जो obviously थोड़े time के बाद better हो गया. Genuinely hope वो better हो, because I genuinely believe Vinicius has the potential, and if all goes well, he's as par to probably he should be in the conversation with Mbappe and Haaland. Uh, and that is the quality that he has. But I think overall, yeah, I think one has to absolutely comment what Real Madrid has done in this particular season, and this is coming from me as a Barcelona fan. The simple fact is that currently Real is a much better team than Barcelona, and as much as it hurts to say it, especially when it comes to the attacking three or the attacking players, I think some of these Barca players who probably start for us might not even make the bench for Real Madrid. They are as good, especially in terms of the attacking third currently. And imagine when, as and when Mbappe comes to, I'm assuming आएगा, I think they'll just, जो MSN का terror था ना, I think it will be as strong a team, as strong as an attack that we've seen over the last decade or so. And बस मेरा एक थोड़ा सा जो कंसर्न है एम्बापे की ट्रांसफर को लेके इज द पोजीशन दैट एम्बापे विल प्ले. I am assuming him to be the center forward. You know, because I don't want Vinicius to switch from the left wing position. You know, he's been terrorizing defense in the Champions League, in La Liga. So वो मेरे लिए I think सबसे बड़ा सबसे interesting part रहेगा एम्बापे की ट्रांसफर का कि what position does Mbappe eventually play. I'm assuming him to be the number 9, the center forward, or you know them to play with two forwards like they've been playing right now, and Rodrigo शायद bench पे, rumor है Rodrigo के बाहर जाने के, तो probably that. But हाँ यार, I think a wonderful performance from Vinicius. Flair, skill, execution, everything was absolutely spot on. And you know, coming to one superstar of Madrid to the other superstar of Madrid in Jude Bellingham, scored a brace tonight. Yes, sort of, you know, it was served on the plate by Vinicius. But I think, you know, Bellingham की best बात क्या, and I think we also have to, you know, sharp praises on Ancelotti for this, as to how he's used Bellingham in a very free roam vara role. You know, how he's been using Bellingham as the number 10. And for someone that young, and for someone that, you know, who's not so talented at the top level, I think जो Bellingham की यार positional awareness है ना, इतनी brilliant है. You know, उसकी anticipation when it comes to attack, you know, what should be the position I should be receiving the ball, या you know, कब मुझे run मारना है, क्या movement होनी चाहिए मेरी. I think he's absolutely wonderful with that, you know. चाहे वो मैंने जो बारसा के मैचेस देखे हैं, यू नो, रियल के, चाहे वो एथलेटिको वाला मैच था, चाहे वो आज का मैच था, आई थिंक Jude Bellingham's positional awareness is something that people need to start talking about, because I am honestly mind blown by how good he is at such a young age. Yes, उनकी footballing ability in terms of on the ball, you know, his shooting, his dribbling, his first touches, yes, 100% that is brilliant, right? But I think जो चीज़ not a lot of, you know, probably जो बहुत ज़्यादा टैक्टिकली एनालाइज नहीं करते हैं, तो बहुत ज़्यादा यू नो डीपली मैच को नहीं देखते, वो लोग शायद नहीं रियलाइज करेंगे कि बेलिंगम की पोजिशनल अवेयरनेस इज राइट नाउ प्रॉब्ली वन ऑफ हिज बिगेस्ट स्ट्रेंथ्स, एंड वन अगेन has to commend Ancelotti for that, because of the way that he's been using, you know, Bellingham. Because Bellingham was majorly being used as a number 6 in the Dortmund days as well. So, you know, for him to be playing a much advanced role this particular season, and जब आपके ऊपर, you know, 100 million का price tag लगा होता है, you play for one of the biggest clubs in the world, तो जो, you know, mental toughness भी आपको चाहिए होती है, I think Bellingham ने वो भी दिखाई है. So I think it's hats off to Madrid, hats off to Bellingham, hats off to Ancelotti of how they've just, you know, managed Jude Bellingham, because just to get the absolute best out of that guy. And हमको रिजल्ट दिख रहे हैं यार. बेलिंगम वन ऑफ द टॉप स्कोरर्स ऑफ ला लीगा. आई थिंक 16 गोल्स हो गए लीग में इस साल, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. सो यू नो, ब्रेकिंग गोल स्कोरिंग रिकॉर्ड्स फॉर समवन दिस यंग. एंड यार दिखता है यार बंदे में एटीट्यूड है, बंदे में क्लास है. यू नो, ही सॉर्ट ऑफ ओन्स दीज बिग मैचेस, चाहे वो क्लासिको में उसका ब्रेस हो, चाहे आज के मैच में उसका ब्रेस हो. यू नो, ही looks like an absolute superstar. So एज अ बार्सिलोना फैन यार, जितने हमने फेल ट्रांसफर्स करी हैं पिछले 5 से 7 सालों में, हार्ट ब्रेकिंग भी है, थोड़ा थोड़ा वियर्ड भी लगता है, बिकॉज आई थिंक रियल मैड्रिड हैज़ बीन एब्सोल्युटली वंडरफुल ऑन देयर ट्रांसफर्स यार. Camavinga, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Bellingham, I think all of these have been absolutely phenomenal signings यार. हाँ, थोड़ी बहुत नो हज़ार्ड की फेल हुई है, लुका योविच आया था, उसकी फेल हुई है, बट आई थिंक they have a wonderful team. And genuinely saying, हमारे शायद अटैकिंग थ्री रियल मैड्रिड के बेंच पे भी शायद ना, it's that big a difference currently. So हाँ यार, आई थिंक बहुत क्लियर गैप है. आई थिंक ऑनेस्टली बड़ा क्लियर हो चुका है. बहुत अनलाइकली कोई और क्लब अब ला लीगा जीते. सो आई थिंक रियल का अब थोड़ा सा फोकस शिफ्ट होने लग जाएगा चैम्पियंस लीग के लिए भी. दिस वीकेंड द चैम्पियंस लीग इज कमिंग बैक एज वेल. सो यू नो, दैट इज समथिंग टू लुक फॉरवर्ड टू एज फुटबॉल फैंस. बट हाँ यार, अगर हम ओवरऑल मैच में भी देखें ना, आई थिंक जिरोना ऑनेस्टली weren't रेडी. आई थिंक स्टार्टिंग ये उन्होंने 1-2 मिनट फिर भी थोड़ा लगा, बट उसके बाद जब से वो विनीशियस ने पहला गोल मारा था ना, I think उसके बाद से Real started dominating the game. Girona somehow looked off यार, and having watched a lot of their recent performances, they didn't look their usual self. And even I think दो गोल्स के बाद बीच में 30th मिनट के अराउंड थोड़ा सा मोमेंट आया था where they started creating chances even late in the first half. They started to create some chances, but I think defensively also midfield maybe I think Real Madrid was winning those first balls. उनके डिफेंस से जो ट्रांजिशन कर रही थी मैड्रिड अटैक में वो भी बहुत ब्रिलियंट था. एंड वेरी ऑनेस्टली जिरोना अटैकिंग वाइज ज़्यादा थ्रेट भी नहीं किया मैड्रिड के गोल को. सो again I think a big difference between the two teams, and I think right now a huge gap between in the table between the number 1 and the number 2. And as a Barcelona fan, Real तो बहुत आगे पहुंच चुकी है. तो a sad situation for us as Barcelona fans, but honestly yaar, I'm so impressed by what Madrid has been doing this particular season. And a lot of time रियाल मैड्रिड मैं अभी इब्राहिमोविच का एक इंटरव्यू पढ़ रहा था, वो जहाँ पे ये कह रहा था कि यार इवन जब वो बारसा भी अपनी पीक पे थी ना, दे प्लेड द मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल फुटबॉल, राइट? एंड बार्सिलोना एज अ क्लब माइट स्टिल प्ले द मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल फुटबॉल, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू द मेंटालिटी ऑफ गेटिंग रिजल्ट्स, आई थिंक देयर इज नो बेटर टीम than रियाल मैड्रिड. उनकी जस्ट आई थिंक मेंटालिटी उनके दिमाग में इनग्रेन्ड है ये चीज़, एंड they just managed to pull out a result out of absolutely nowhere. And now when you combine this with the class of the likes of Bellingham, Vinicius, Valverde, Camavinga, it's just a icing on top of the cake. And Abibi, I wouldn't consider them as the favorites for the Champions League. Yes, they will always be one of the favorites. Probably City and Real are still the favorites, but City for me is still the better team. There are still some gaps in that Real Madrid team, which I think currently उनको La Liga में तो challenge बिल्कुल नहीं मिल रहा है. Barca is not a strong team. Girona is, obviously उनका season बहुत अच्छा जा रहा है, but it's not a naturally very strong team filled with superstars. So I would love to see, how Real Madrid faces in the Champions League, and how they go up, because obviously, with the mentality, with the players that they have, and with how big the club is, Real Madrid always seem to find results in the Champions League. But again, yeah, I would love to see what happens in the Champions League, because Abibi, they are not the, as a team, if you ask me, there are still some gaps, midfield में थोड़ी बहुत चीज़ें हैं in terms of the defensive contribution, because वेलवर्डे सीजन बेस्ट ऑफ फॉर्म्स में नहीं है, एंड जब भी मॉडरेज और क्रूज साथ में खेलते हैं तो थोड़ा सी शेकी लगती है उनकी मिडफील्ड. तो yes, attacking wise, probably the best team in the world right now, right? In terms of getting goals, in terms of just the superstars and informed superstars. But in terms of when they fare up against the likes of, let's say, Manchester City or Bayern Munich, a Liverpool, तब I think it would be a very interesting battle, and a battle जो I think देखने में बहुत ज़्यादा मज़ा आएगा, because right now this particular moment Real Madrid does not have a competition in La Liga. They are the much superior team to any other team right now, and considering the fact that they have most of their key players out injured, चाहे Militao हो जाए, चाहे आपका Courtois हो जाए, they don't have a proper number 9 in their team, and then they are doing all of this stuff in La Liga. So imagine when they have their full-fledged team, they're just going to run riots in La Liga. तो आई थिंक ला लीगा तो हम कह सकते हैं कि ख़त्म हो ही चुकी है. इंटरेस्टिंग होगा कि चैम्पियंस लीग में क्या होता है. बट लेट मी नो यार, व्हाट डू यू गाइज थिंक ऑफ मैड्रिड्स परफॉर्मेंस? What do you guys think of Vinicius? And let me know what do you guys think on the Mbappe comparison, because trust me, I genuinely feel that in terms of absolute footballing ability, I think Vinicius is a bigger talent than Kylian Mbappe. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And at the same time, बड़ा interesting होगा जब Mbappe Real Madrid आएगा, तो what is the formation that Real plays with, because that would be by far the most terrorizing attack in European or world football for that matter. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely day. And हाँ यार, I think last week मैं video नहीं डाल पाया था. I had some commitments at home, but a lot of good content coming up, a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss about Indian football as well. So subscribe to Football Unplugged with me, Satvik, and yeah, thank you so much for tuning in.